Hello everyone, I finally got round to doing showing you my van, so let's go. I've had the van for 6 years and I haven't decided whether to he or she yet, but I have called he or she Explorer, hence that. So, we'll start here. Fuel, water, river water if you want river water, streams, whatever, because it's got a pump. And I'll show you in the back doors in a minute. But we'll go right round now. Clean it all up for you, best I can. That's the infill, and that's the electric input, which I'm sure you've all seen many times before. But what you've got to see is, and when I go inside I'll show you, because as you'll all agree, these Ducatos have shite horns. So listen to this. I'll show you what I did, and if you want to know how I did it, I'm happy to do another video. Without being big-headed, it's all scratch built, and I have a bit of past knowledge, and we'll go into that later. There is actually in a magazine, I think it was a few years back, in the Motor Caravan magazine, we had a feature in there, and it explains a lot, even all the cost, but I've spent a lot more since. Right, you've seen the outside, so let's go inside now. Follow me. Oh. All hand carved, solid oak, Japanese oak. I can explain how all this was done at a later date. All the electrics are in here. I'll go into detail at a later date, because there's far too much to tell you all in one go. So it's just a brief look around to see what you think. Little bookshelf under there, but obviously this all changes into a single bed when that seat's turned round. I also have a facility to have a single bed going that way. Curtains across. Separate compartment. The gas is kept here. And this will make you laugh. It has to be all metal. So guess what that is? An old washing machine. So it complies. There's the gas bottle. I don't normally have all this in, you know, obviously it's handy with the shelf in, but to comply it all has to be lined with metal inside, especially when you can open it from this side. And all this metal, that was off the side of the washing machine, all the other metal, and then I had one piece of metal I was short of, so I broke an old cooker up that I had to get another panel. So it's all riveted together and it's all sealed when it closes, fire proof or whatever you call it. But a lot of it's second hand. This is second hand, that came from Gretna Green. I had a run up to Gretna Green one day and I bought that. I made the table just out of an old piece of oak. All the laminate, it's the old fashioned way of laminating, because obviously I was a joiner by trade. This isn't boards with laminate on, it's just ordinary plywood, none of your lightweight stuff, and it still weighs okay. I can still carry up to 400 pounds, I think it is, in Imperial, with all this so-called heavier weight with heavier, because I think that's a bit of a fallacy in itself. It's just standard plywood with Formica, the good old-fashioned laminate, bonded with Everstick. The water tank's under there neatly. I decided to have it in the van because I want an all-weather van, and I don't want to be arsing around, you know, worrying about it freezing underneath, because all these jackets you put on and all these heaters, it's all extra things that can go wrong. And I've seen many occasions with a lot of the people I follow where they've had problems, so stick it inside if you've got the room. Now, you might see that I haven't got a cooker. Ah, yes I have. Ta-da! That's all I need. Live on my own. A Dometic compressor fridge, 12 volts, which is working fine, very good indeed. And then I just made these pull-outs. Now at the moment I've got all tools and things like that in, but food, you could put food in there if you wanted to. And the gas turn-offs in there as well. Obviously the usual business. And there's another food one. Right, just a little more to show here. Just the usual double bed size, 4'6" wide. There's your solid lats. Same thing, meets in the middle. And then, if you want privacy, curtains across. See me? And then this clips, there's buttons and this clips right across. And you can then use it from this side. But when I'm in bed, I get up and down to use the toilet now and again. You can bolt it in this position and that can stay open. Also the door fixes back in this position if ever you want to just leave it like that, if you're doing preparing food and what have you, because I always put the waste in here, not down the sink. Even potato peels and things like that can go. People don't think of doing that, I don't think. I do, because it just blocks the small pipes. So it goes in there. Just use it as a trash thing, because you can still empty it out. So you don't just have to use that as a toilet for a wee and a poo. Your solids can go down there as well. And the other thing, people say they smell and they spend all this money on these fans and extractors to take the smells out. All you got to do is put a bit of water, leave a bit of water in, like a normal toilet. It not only keeps the rubbers fresh, no smell will pass through that water. So I've never had any problems with a smelly toilet as people say there is. So I think the content is spending all the money on these fancy, I forget what they call them now, but they extract the smells out. And then you're using your battery and using your power as well. No need, just put a bit of water in. It's all quite basic. Obviously I bought the toilet, bought the shower tray. This is just the cheap double lined. Obviously I forgot to say the van's very well insulated all the way around. But in here it's totally waterproof. I've got a good shower, and this is advisable to have. It's fully controllable. I'll just demonstrate. If you turn it on, you see it's quite powerful, and you flick that switch with one hand to save water, and it turns it off. You don't have to have the main one on, but also you can control the speed of it as well by this other switch. Then you have another switch at the side, and you can have different, like a small stream, big stream, fully controllable. But that's as good as any power shower, don't you agree? And that's a standard shower, you know, you've got to search for it, but it's a good one. I've got all the details if anyone wants to know where I got it from. And this is my little cabinet. That cabinet was a cheapie. I think it was £15 from B&Q 6 years ago. There's the controls for the diesel heater, and then there's an outlet there, so you can obviously use this when that's closed. You can't hurt anything, you know, that's Formica and that's all waterproof. There's a drying cupboard, and in the winter, if you don't want the top open, it can get 130 Fahrenheit in there, you know, that's warm enough to dry anything out, all your wet clothes. And there's the other outlet. That's all I need in the van. Right, what do you think about my little shelves in the corner? They're just two ordinary handles, you know, they act as a little rail, stop things falling off. And that was a bit of spare carpet I'd left over from my fancy porthole windows. All handmade. I bought the porthole windows, glazed them myself with toughened polycarbonate, double glazed, and let's see now, all the doors are all handmade. Nothing's factory bought, everything's handmade. Obviously that's factory bought and stuff like that, but I'll go into a lot more detail on how I did everything at a later date, or anybody wants to know, I'll be happy to do videos on that, in case you don't believe me. Don't know whether I want to mention that. it's a dye spray, and that's an alarm. And I know I'm a bloke, but I'm on my own, so I just want to scare them away. And they're perfectly legal, by the way. That once you spray somebody with that, it makes their eyes, it's not pepper, but it just makes their eyes sting. And it's a red dye that lasts for 4 days. So you make sure you hit them in the face with it. And they'll be walking around for 4 days with a red face, whether it's through embarrassment or what. That's the control for my cooler. And 240 inverter. When the inverter, I've got a 1200 watt inverter under here where the electrics are. TV was second hand. These windows off Caravan, second hand. What else was second hand? Oh, I must show you this. Guess where these came from? And I've never had to alter them. B&Q in the blinds department, and they go all the way down to the floor. Never had to cut them. Just fit, and they'll fit any Ducato. And they only cost something like, can't quite remember, but they were a heck of a lot cheaper than those fancy stuff you buy to keep the mosquitoes out. I've got another one on the back doors as well that covers the whole of the back door. I laminated the dashboard to make it look a bit more walnut, that is. That's one of the few more expensive things I spent on it, you know, but I think it was worth it. I like it anyway. Oh yes, it's got heated seats, back and front, and the controls are down here. And of course the original seats are underneath here. These are better quality seat covers. I quite like these because, and I put an extra arm on both of the seats. The only thing is, you've got to get it just right to be able to turn it. But as you can see, they're well padded, and in the winter, when the heated seats are on, they're lovely and cosy. Now let's come down like that. Then I've got this usual storage space upstairs at the top, and I thought I'd have a door on it because I think it looks better. You don't want to see all that. There's just the tables and chairs and things like that. All electrical stuff. The usual mess with all the wires tangled up. Gives me something to do on a night when I've got nothing else to do. This is the TV, obviously, you've all seen TVs, but I've tried to think of everything. If you unplug that, this will turn round and go back there, and then I won't go into how I clip it back there, it stays there. And then I've got seat belt there, and to make it legal, that's the head backrest, so when you're sat down. But also it's a storage for cables, keeps it all very nice and tidy. I've got a hot water 240 volt hot water heater, and the switch is to convert it from mains to 12 volt inverter. So that's that. The power step, that's the main switch to turn the power off for the power step, which I fitted. There's a extra cooling fan there that cools everything inside. I've got a camera in there so I can keep my eye on the seat. I've got a C-Tech system for the electrical, battery to battery, and they're wonderful. I don't hear too many people talking about the C-Tech. Quite expensive, and I believe it's Swedish, but I've used it for 6 years now, and I've never had any bother with it. Now if you look at my controls, don't laugh, but if I can remember what they're all for, that's obvious, isn't it? That's a weather station, which is quite accurate, and I'm not going to tell you how to use a weather station. That's the remote switch for the inverter. Just press that and you can, I won't do it now. Then we've got Wi-Fi. That's on all the time, because if you look here, that camera's in action all the time, and fully adjustable from anywhere, wherever I am in the world, if I'm not with the van. I've also got a tracker that's hidden away, and I subscribe to the live tracker so I can track the van live. So if I see them on the camera and they drive off, that's if they can, because I've got lots of devices to immobilise it, but I'm not going to tell you anything about that. No one's ever going to know anything about that. That's the gas detector that works with the mains when it's plugged in. A lot of people don't fit these. They fit these, which are carbon monoxide, but that's pure gas detector. Particularly when the bottle's inside, it detects leaking gas. That's what it's for. One more thing for this particular video, I'll show you my all-round monitoring system. Here we go. Tiny little camera there. And it's night vision and everything. This side, there's another one. Another one. There's also a camera up here which is a reversing light, but that's when the van's in motion and all that, yeah. But these are when I'm inside the van, static. I know what's going on outside. There's the other one. I just flick this switch, which isn't connected to the ignition system, so they work all the time. And that's the rear view. I press the button and then it shows you. Sorry, I had the other way around. That was the front view and this is the rear view. So rear view and front view through those tiny cameras I showed you. And the other one for the side is there, and then obviously I have a remote, but the battery's flat at the moment. I just press this button and it changes to the other side, so it's all round. Right, I'll show you my latest edition, which I think every van, because let's face it, most of us van owners haven't got brand new ones. All brand new vans and motorhomes and cars have these fitted automatically, is tyre pressure monitors. I think it's the best thing you can have in a vehicle. They warn you with sound if a tyre's going to go down if you're driving down the motorway. I don't know whether you can see the monitor now. It's showing 73 in the rear left, 72, which isn't much different, in the rear right, 65 pounds per square inch that is, in the front left, and 66. This is solar and it's removable, so you can take it round when you're checking the gauges. And there's a little solar panel on, so you never have to charge it. About £39 on Amazon, and I think everyone should invest in one of them. I bought my daughter one for her birthday. She doesn't know yet. Just as a little footnote for the disbelievers, because I've had a few subscribers I don't think really believe me, they've actually got a legal re-registration certificate as a motor caravan. So as you can see, there's living proof. Ducato motor caravan. They all say like goods, but it's a motor caravan. Therefore, if I sell it, I can officially sell it as a motor caravan. So it's legal. Irrespective of what some of the people have said to me, that there's no way you'll get that van because it hasn't got this, it hasn't got that. And I believe, from what they told me, it's very, very hard for the DVLA to approve self-made vans nowadays. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed the trip around the van. If anyone wants a lot more detail, I'm quite happy to spend some time and either message you or send you another video of how I went about everything. So like and subscribe, and I'll try and have many more videos in the future, but just as a taster of what I intend doing, because I'm 76-year-old, you know, I'm getting on now. I can't believe I'm going to be 80 in 4 years' time. So I'm going to see the world. Well, I told my grandson, one of my grandsons, I was going to go to Iceland, and he says, "You can't drive there." I said, "Yeah, I know I can't drive there, but you get on a ferry, can't you?" "No, I don't want to go where it's cold. I'm going south. I'm going to try and... I've got my passport renewed, and I'm going to go abroad. My brother-in-law lives in southern Spain, so I might end up down there. Hopefully, one of my grandsons is going to be studying in Berlin, so I'll most definitely pay him a visit. I hope the whole family will have many adventures in it, because I'm not parting with it. It's for life, and that's what the article was about in the Motorhome and Caravan magazine. I think it was December 2020. But I'll find out and I'll let you know about that, because it's quite a good article. It was a professional, I forget what you call them now, journalist, professional journalist. And I went down to St Ives, not the St Ives in Cornwall, near Cambridge, a wonderful area. And it was in a boatyard where he kept his boat, because he knew the theme was, because I've worked in the boat building industry, and he knew that I was passionate about that. So it's quite a good article to read, and there's a lot of descriptions, and all this detail of the costs is in there. And if you can't find it, you can still buy the magazine. If you can't find it, I'm happy to send you, pictures of it. Okay. I think I've said enough now.